Good evening, guys. I left you this afternoon when I made the first video, and I was planning to make orders in the next few days, but tonight is really hot and I cannot sleep. And I thought to make another one. Initially, the plan was to go chronologically from the beginning till now, but then I thought I can go in any way, back and forward, doesn't really matter. So I feel compelled to share a story about synchronicities. So amongst the many events occurred in my life till now, synchronicities have been, especially since when I left Italy, the most powerful events that occur, because they occur very often, sometimes every day, when some other even if actually massively extraordinary, because they change completely the way I see life, they did happen rarely, and it seems not really controlled. When with synchronicities, I realize that anytime I keep myself in peace, that's when they start to happen. And more I maintain this inner peace, and more often they show up. A lot of philosophers says that is the universe, the God way to tell you that you're on the right path. Others that it's when something is going, something that you dream or something you plan to happen is going to happen. So that's a sign that it's very close. Either way, it's sign of basically being on the right path. So there happen many of them to me, and there's more big, huge, and but they happen all the time. As I said, every time I feel in inner peace, they happen. So those videos are probably most of them it won't be planned. I will just make it as I feel, and I just feel to share one that I would say that probably is the first of the many, and one of the very big that took me to a new course of life. And this has happened before I moved to Australia, but it's related to that as well. So probably a lot of you might know what is synchronicities from Carl Jung, and so he is a famous psychiatrist that believed that nothing happened by accident and everything has a reason. So Carl Jung is very famous, but I'm sure that before him or even during his lifetime, many others reached that conclusion. But he is the one that is most known. Probably because I would say probably because he was white, he was from Europe, and so that's why he had more opportunity to come out, because I'm sure that from Africa to Asia there were many like him. They already got that conclusion probably even before him. But anyway, synchronicities, something that happened in a way that seems has no apparent reason to happen, but that it does. So the one I'm going to talk today, now, is about the one that led me to Australia. So it's involved the same person for 3 times. So his name will be Alessandro, like me. There's so many Alessandro. So I met Alessandro. Alessandro used to come on with me in my high school, but we never really been great friends. Just we knew each other, and we would bump on each other sometime in my hometown, in clubs or bars. My town is small. So the first synchronicity was 3 years before I left Italy, and it was in Madrid. New Year Eve. It was the 31st of December, New Year Eve, and I was on the main square of Madrid, Plaza Mayor, and it was midnight, fireworks, everybody happy, and I heard my name. I turned around, and Alessandro was there with some friends. Incredulous to see me there in Madrid. You know, wow, what a coincidence. And we had great time that night. We drank, we had fun, and I dismiss the event as just a coincidence. 1 year passed. It was around Christmas and New Year again, and this time I went traveling in the Netherlands. I just arrived, take the train from the airport. I arrived in Amsterdam in the central train station. Came out from the station, walking toward my hostel. Somehow I look on my right and across the road, and why so? It was Alessandro again. Wow. I shout his name. We met, and again, incredulous. What's going on? It's already 2 times in a row. Always during New Year period. I mean, we never met during that year in my hometown. That is a very small town, but we met 2 times in a row in 2 different years, always around New Year. So again, we thought was just coincidences. We spent some good time together during that holiday. Went back home. Never saw him for the next 1 year and a half. So for the following New Year, I was in Lisbon, and obviously I thought I would actually meet him, but this time nothing. But a few months later, it was I think June, July, walking in my hometown High Street. Again, I hear my name, I turn around, there's Alessandro. So I make a joke and say, look, I was in Lisbon and I didn't see you. I was waiting for you where you were. And he was like with a face, looked like, like something crazy was happening right now. He looked at me and say, we didn't met in Lisbon, but it was kind of like we met. So I was like, what do you mean? And he told me that year he went into Australia. In Australia, you have a visa called working holiday that allows you to work and travel. And if you want to renew a second year, so you're not allowed to have 2 years, and that's it. But to renew the second year, you need to work for 3 months in a farm. So he did it, and he went to work, and he went in a hostel, and in this hostel, they found a job for you, and he ended up working for an Italian farmer. So he, talking about, where you from, what's your name, and I come from San Benedetto del Tronto, and the farmer said, wow, my cousin is from there, and his son is probably around your age. I was like, what's his name? It's Alessandro, like you. I said, Alessandro Carosi. I said, yeah. I said, he's my friend. And he told him the story that we met in Madrid, we met in Amsterdam. So he ended up working for my father's cousin, a cousin that I never knew I had. I never knew that I had an uncle living in Australia. My mother never told me. I mean, there was no reason to telling me. So Alessandro worked for 3 months in my uncle's farm. So I went back home and I said, Ma, I met Alessandro, and he told me that he worked for Giovanni. Do I have an uncle that owns a farm in Australia? And my mom was like, yeah, it's your father's cousin. They look like a twin. They best friend. When you were a baby, used to come back to Italy, and he hold your hand on his arms. I was like, wow. I mean, already I was thinking to move to Australia, but that was kind of like the catalyst that to say, okay, I'm going. So many more of the other things happened. I will tell you next time. But so I went to Australia, and many things happened. I decided to go and see him in Bundaberg, and he did not have really much work to give me, just something. So he and his farm is the middle of nowhere, like literally in the middle of nowhere. So he placed me. He found for me a hostel that was run by a friend, and in this hostel I met a girl that I will tell you the story another time. Was the one I fell in love for the first time in my life, and until that moment I was thought that love was a bullshit. And meeting this girl is what made me not coming back to Italy for many years, and that changed completely the course of my life. So coincidences, what does it mean? I mean, you meet someone that you barely met in your hometown that is 40,000 people, so a very small town. You met him in Madrid for New Year Eve. You met him again 1 year later in Amsterdam, always during New Year here. And 1 year and a half later, you meet him in your hometown, but you haven't seen him for ages. He was looking for you, and he tells you that he worked for a farmer in Australia, with all the farmer he could work, that it turns out to be an uncle, a relative you didn't know to have. Because of him, you moved to Australia. Because of him, you ended up in this hostel. Because of him, you meet a girl that it turns out to be the love of your life. An Asian girl. I never really thought about Asian girls. I never was interested in Asian girls. My dream girls was a Swedish girl or Italian girls. Asian girls, never care a bit, or even a little bit, nothing. This is gonna be another story, but it seems like that everything had to happen in the way that happened to make me meet this girl. So, see, this is one of the first synchronicities, and many, many more happen. But I will tell you more next time. I think for tonight I'm done. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep. It's so hot. I've been living in London for 7 years. Never felt so hot like this for so long. Moved to Scotland for the last 2 years. Cold all the time. Seems like in Scotland climate change doesn't exist, but in London definitely the weather went up, and the temperature went up and up and up and up. We'll see. Anyway, have a good night or good morning, depends where you are, and talk to you soon.